We are recording. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I am Cecilia Boschi, lead of Women Power Up Network Latin America region. And my co-host today in this session is Grace Johnson, our Africa region head, Hannah from North America, lead, and please, Hannah and Grace, say hello to our amazing audience. Oh, Hannah is not here. I'm sorry. She's having a problem. I remember that. Grace, please say hello.
Hello, hi. Thank you for joining us. We hope you have a great time today. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Grace. And we also have Mariana, our Europe lead. Are you there, Mariana?
Hello, everyone. One big hello from Slovenia. So I'm really happy that we get together this month again, and I hope you come to next events too.
Thank you, Mariana. And Parminder, our editor of monthly newsletter, a great newsletter, Parminder. I love it. Are you there, Parminder? She's connected or not yet? No.
Not yet. Yeah.
Not yet, okay. And Meghana, yes, she's here, lead of our mentoring program, We Mentor.
Sure. A very warm welcome to everyone. Thanks for joining. And we looking forward to the exciting session ahead today.
Thank you, Meghana. And Feni, our live graphics recorder. Feni.
Hi everyone. Hope we share a nice afternoon, at least here where I am, or morning where you are, I don't know, or evening.
Thank you, Feni. And please say hello to each other and let us know from where you have joined today in menti.com. You have the code there, 9606-4333. Please say hello and say from where you are joining. By now, some housekeeping rules. We all are here to celebrate women leadership. We are all speaking on individual capacity. Our views expressed here do not anywhere represent the organization we work for. This meeting is being recorded. If you are uncomfortable in any way, please feel free to hop out of the event. And if not, you are welcome to join our celebration. Now, for community updates, I hand over the session to Priya, our Women Up Network leader.
Yes. So,
Priya.
thank you, Cecilia. It is such an amazing feeling to see so many people joining in from all across the globe. I just saw the Menti poll, and to let you know, I have at least 10 countries here today on this platform. Well, no, 10, 11. Actually, Brazil just came in. So we have Argentina, India, Slovenia, Brazil, Germany, United States, Malaysia, Nigeria, and Spain. So definitely, this is so amazing. And I'm so excited to welcome all of you here to this event. I will just take 1 minute to talk about our community a bit. Women Power Up Network was incepted in the COVID days, that is Jan 26, 2020. And as you know, we are a community. So we are not a business. We are a community with a purpose. And as of now, we have 800 women all across the globe on this platform. Isn't that exciting? Yeah. And our vision is to empower not only women, also men with the right support, skill to transform the future. We hope we'll be able to transform the future someday. And right now we are providing this platform to enhance our leadership qualities. And today's session is also a very, very exciting session. We have mentoring program, which Meghana will talk about in a few minutes. And we truly believe that, being good enough is just amazing. You don't really have to be an expert to power each other up. And when such good enough people come together, we definitely power up. And together we rise. And in our endeavor to rise together, we have launched this mentoring program. And there's some exciting news on this program as well. And I will hand over the stage to Meghana, who is our V Mentor lead, to talk a little more about what's coming up in V Mentor. Over to you.
Right. Thanks a lot, Priya. A little bit of background about what we are trying to do with our flagship mentorship program. We for sure want to provide a platform where all of you can actually collaborate and connect and meet each other. And that's how all of us actually as a core team came along. And it's been quite a few months that we have had some amazing interactions with each other. And we launched the We Mentor in 2021. Our first cycle is already behind us. Some of the mentors and mentees really had a very great time with the mentoring program. And so, of course, with renewed motivation, we have launched the 2022 edition. And We Mentor always has a global outlook. We prefer connecting across countries, across continents, but for sure in a time zone that people can interact better in a language that's their natural language of choice. So you have the opportunity to talk to and benefit from a mentor who is really going to support and partner with you as best as possible. And next month, we are coming up with yet another interesting platform for all of you. So our monthly meetup is going to be about providing an opportunity for all of you for a speed mentoring session. So just in case if it will be your first speed mentoring session, speed mentoring is basically all about really those short focused interactions with industry experts, with renowned mentors, so that you have a focused conversation, albeit for a very short time, but really powerful and something from which you will have significant takeaways. So I'm quite excited and would love to host all of you and many of you. So please spread the word around, and in the chat window, I will also be placing the link on how you can get associated with We Mentor. And We Mentor is really going places. If you just glance through the connections, through the sponsors that we have for We Mentor. So it's quite amazing to connect across Tunisia to Slovenia to Buenos Aires, just as amazing as it is to connect across people in the Asian continent. So looking forward to it, and the link follows in the chat in a second from now. And with that, I'll hand it over back to Priya or Cecilia.
Sorry about this.
Thank you, Meghana. Grace, would you like to introduce next month's session?
No, this is the last month's session that we had.
I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. This is the last session.
Yes. If Grace, you're there, you can talk a little about last month's session. I don't see her. Maybe she dropped off. So I will take this forward. So last month we had our Africa region session, and it was standing tall. How do you make an impact in the corner of the where you are? And that was also an amazing event. We had lots of people joining in from all across the globe. There is a recording of this session. If you have missed it, I will paste it on the chat window. Please go ahead and look at it. All our sessions are there on our YouTube channel. Feel free to watch it at your leisure. Over to you, Cecilia, for the next.
Thank you. And now this is my time to introduce, to talk about my book, my little book. And I want to talk about the history about how I write this little book. As many of you know, I for almost 20 years, I've been teaching project management and preparing students to PMI certifications. But in general, my students were from business and from industries like information technology, construction, oil and gas, and so. But a few years ago, I was presented with a great challenge for me. I was offered to teach in a very different audience. It was in a bachelor's degree and in a master's degree for organization of educational institutions. So it meant teaching in a total different environment for me, and my audience was made by principals or people prepared to be principals of primary schools or high schools. And as you can imagine, the audience was a very different background that I was accustomed to. So at that time, I realized that we used to talk in a very technical lexicon, in a very, very specific lexicon about project management. And I had to do a very hard exercise trying to communicate the best practices of project management, but in a very different or very day-to-day language. So after that experience and with the interaction with my students, this book came at light. And it was a very nice experience because I had to express all the best practices and the good practices of project management by talking very simply, very clearly for the people without a technical background as me or as many of my students. So after teaching these subjects, I wrote the book, and it's a very short book, not so long, with a few pages, but very easy to read. And it's aligned with the 6th edition of the PMO guide, beginning with an introduction to project management and the stakeholders, the characteristics of the projects, and then with the initiation of the project, the planning, the execution and control, and until the closure of the project. And the interesting things here is that all the examples and activities were based in a very, very simple and familiar project for any audience. It was the construction of a kids' playground in a school. So with this fictitious project, planning activities were represented like the work breakdown structures, elaborations, the schedule, the budgets, quality requirement, purchase and contracts, risk, and everything about project management, but in a very, very simple way. And almost, of course, leadership and motivation of the team, the communication with stakeholders were also exposed. I want to highlight that my book has an invaluable foreword by Ricardo Triana, who was president of the PMI Board of Directors in 2014 and recognized as a PMI fellow for his work regarding the professions and the support to the Institute. And the back cover writes Adriana Sibeli. She is my partner in my company Active PMO, and she was president of PMI Buenos Aires chapter last year, 2021. So my special thanks to both. And I hope this book is fulfilling its purpose of providing basic notions of project management to all those people who are interested in achieving good results in their endeavors. By the way, this book is only published in Spanish right now, but I am considering translating to English too soon. And Fanny, have you read the book?
Yes, I have. I have to say that I was very lucky to win a digital copy of the book in an event that actually this community held some months ago. And to be honest, yes, I have to say that it's super easy to follow, really valuable information there. And in my case, I have a teaching background, and I told you, Ceci, that I could actually, start thinking how to transfer all the concepts and ideas and examples you give in the book to the classroom. So I would definitely recommend this book. And well, hopefully it will be available in English soon too, to reach more people.
Thank you, Penny. Thank you very much.
Cecilia, you should definitely consider translating that to English at least,
Oh,
so that we can read it.
of course. We will begin with the translation to English, and after that, Portuguese, French, and we don't know. Thank you. And now I'm very, very glad to introduce you to the speaker of the day, my co-country, Cecilia Kancesz-Polski. Cecilia is entrepreneur, storytelling coach, and CMO of Healthways and Smart Women. She's a talented professional network for global services, developing new women for future jobs beyond the glass ceiling. Whoa. Cecilia, welcome to Women Power Up Network, and thank you for sharing your knowledge and your experience with us.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here with my namesake, it's Cecilia as well. And I am so excited and thankful for the opportunity to share this with you. And I would like to ask you, if it's possible, if you feel comfortable, just to turn your cameras on. That would be, because it's a very interactive storytelling, is really connecting with people. And for this workshop to really be successful, and I will be open to questions at any of the presentation, any time in the presentation. And that would be great to see you all. And okay.
Cecilia, you can share your screen whenever you want.
Yeah, definitely. I will. Just give me 1 second. Share the screen. Okay, share. Here it is. And I'm going to be presenting from here. Just give me a second. Okay, present. Okay. Can you see the screen? Yeah, perfect. Okay, the point is, I'm going to speak today about storytelling. And when we're speaking about storytelling, the first question is why storytelling, or what storytelling can do for me? And let me assure you, storytelling, a real, authentic storytelling, can do wonders for your brand, for your personal brand, or for your business. Actually can turn a brand into a legacy, or can make this legacy into, scale it worldwide and make it increasing its profit, and come and connect with the emotions and the heart of people. And one thing I really amazed is that, why are you here? If we think how many people would take a Saturday to be in a storytelling workshop, or actually how many people would be doing anything that they say they were doing to do, they were going to do. I'm going to show you something. Many people would think, okay, how many people are going to do things, actually doing things? Some people would say, well, 50, 40%. Some people would say 10%. But the truth, and there have been many studies showing that only 1% of people would do anything that would be a bit challenging. Probably you would know a lot of people that at the end of the year, New Year's Eve, would say, oh, next year I'm going to do this and that, and I'm going to start doing that. I'm going to write a book, I'm going to do more exercise, I'm going to inscribe myself in that gym. But the matter of fact is that only 1% are doing challenging things. So for this event was posted in LinkedIn, was over hundreds of people had looked at it, had known of it, and only you are here. So for those that I'm here, I congratulate, and I am going to tell you that be ready, because this workshop can be a little bit challenging, and I would love to challenge you. Okay. Another why storytelling? Storytelling is something that is inherent to human nature. It's been for always in the caves, in the communities, in the prehistoric times. We always were drawn for stories. We will make stories, creating our own identity. Who we are defined by our stories. And there's many stories. The stories can be like inspiring others, can be creating identity, but also a story well told can be this bottle of water in the desert. And I will go more on that during this workshop. Well, it is true that a story well told makes the best impression, but how to create them convincingly? I will tell you more. We are in a time that we are like invited by so much information, too much information, and too much numbers, too much ideas, too much, but we don't remember. And the worst danger we are having nowadays is to be one more, or even worse, to be boring. And one real story can make you remarkable. And I will be working on how to do it. I have prepared a lot of things, and I don't know even how to, am I going to really fast all that I had prepared. But let's get into how to tell this story. Well, these are some tips that I like to share you actually from Pixar, that were the main experts on how to tell stories. Usually the stories work most of the times in this way. Once upon a time happened something, and then every day and every day and every day it was all the same. But one day happened something that wasn't expected. One day there was a crisis, one day there was a lockdown, one day we became mothers, one day we lost something or someone. And because of that, we end up transformed. We transform ourselves until finally, and then we came back. And when we came back, we become different, transformed, perhaps wiser, perhaps more powerful. Excuse me, I'm trying to pass the. Well, first thing when you want to tell a story is put it on paper. Let's start to make it real. There's a saying that less is much more one little pencil than a huge big memory. If things stays in your head, the best idea, the most perfect project, you will not remember next day. Believe me, you will not. If you don't share with anyone, has not any value. And that is the way that most, or so many amazing ideas, so many amazing stories were completely lost. So anything you think, any idea, put it on paper. Let's make it real. That's the first step. And getting back about this 1% or 2% or sometimes 0.5%. When you just pick up a pen and write something, you are much ahead of more than 99% of people. Just writing an idea into a paper. The most difficult thing ever is to have the decision and make the very first tiny step. So put it on paper is the first thing that if you can, it's better to do it right away. Don't wait for that. Well, and that's something this is a tip, I love it. When you are stuck, when you don't know what to do, think about what you would not do. And you come into a list of full things that you would not do. The craziest thing that you would not do. Perhaps you would not book I don't know, a flight to China to walk on the big wall. You would not tell your stories in parks. You would not do many things. Just write it down, what every crazy thing, and make it much crazier than you think. Don't put limits into your imagination. It's things you would never do. Put a whole list of things you would not do. And as crazy as it seems, this is an amazing tip. Because between all the things that you would not do, they might think that they're, well, perhaps it's not that crazy. Perhaps I can do something like that. It's a bit of tricky tip. Another, sorry, another tip. Well, and when you want to tell something, and it is about yourself, when you are preparing a project, think what you are comfortable with. This, we all know about these comfort zones and how does it work. What are you good? What are you so good, so comfortable with? And what would be your opposite? What you would not be comfortable with? Look at the very, very opposite, just as a game. So this is an amazing exercise to do actually in pairs. To think first what you are comfortable with, second, what you are not comfortable with. And in these things that you are not comfortable with, challenge it a bit. Think, okay, if I'm not comfortable with this, let's say scaling a mountain, but perhaps I will be comfortable with walking a few blocks, and then another few blocks, another few blocks. And in most of the stories, the characters are very good and very comfortable into doing something. Usually it's something small, but then life challenge him or challenge her. And we all been challenged all the time by life. And we all have to step out of what we are comfortable with. And to be comfortable with the uncomfortable, comfortable with things that are opposite to what we are comfortable, I think it is a great skill, and a skill that we can develop and break a few limits with that. Okay, that's something that we sometimes forget. We admire characters for what he or her tries, or she tries, than for his achievements. Perhaps it happens in sports. Sometimes, okay, that were the champions, but my goodness, the other team, how hard they fight. And perhaps the other team didn't have these great players, didn't have these huge sponsors. They really, but my goodness, they really fight. And don't underestimate to try, because we admire people that try. We admire people. It's not important sometimes if what you achieve or what you're not. Of course, we really want to succeed. And of course, we are working on building skills for success. It is in our map, it is. But the trying is not a little thing. If we focus sometimes into try, if we feel comfortable into try, we have no idea how much we can achieve. And that it is a skill that really has to do with leadership. It is not only about achievements, it's about trying, because the people that are relying on you, the people that are following you, would admire you just for that. And okay, and there's also what it is interesting for an audience, what it is important, and see what the story is really about. That's something I love it. What it is the story really about. And in storytelling, of course, there's this classical once upon the time, until, and at the end. But we all having stories that many of us underestimate. When we are here, when we are learning about the storytelling, when we are working in the morning, when we are doing what we do, there's a powerful why. And in this why we are doing what we do, the real why, not the why okay, I want to succeed, I want the next step in my career, I want to be leading not 20, but 50 or 100 or 300 or a team of thousands of people, I want to be earning that much or not. Why? Why do you choose to be here? What do you choose to your career? Your why? If you really connect with your why, I'm sure, and I can assure you that it is a powerful story. Sometimes we think that we need a lot of imagination, or no. The point is no. The truth is sexy enough. The truth is sexy enough. A real, authentic story has more power than we can ever imagine. Okay. And another thing that stories have is moving people to take action. We all like that. People to take action, people to do things, people to choose us, people to even want to have a next meeting or hear a little bit more about what we do. As simple as that. And I like to tell you something that really has to do with storytelling, being disruptive. The right story at the right time can be game changer in business, tragedy, triumph, tension, transition. A good story really can captivate your listener and help you to achieve your goals. There's many stories of that in small brands, for example, that had no budget to spend in publicity, and with a good story, they achieve much farther. And I'm going to tell you a story that with a rock star, let's think UK, England, 1972. And there was this crazy, completely, let's say, politically incorrect, nasty, ugly rock star that had some success in US, in the United States, but wanted to also have success in England with the British. My goodness, crazy rock star, 1972, and England. Okay, well, he had a venue of over 10,000 people, and they had sold only 50 tickets. In a stadium for 10,000 people and sold only 50 tickets. Alice Cooper show, 1972, in the Wembley Arena in London. No one knew about this guy. No one wanted to see this guy. His music, you might like it or not, was not interesting the British people. Only 50 people were there. And then this Alice Cooper is not the hero. The hero is another one that we don't even hear about, that is called Shep Gordon, that was his manager. The guy just rented a camion. Probably he had to pay a lot for renting this camion, and put a picture of the naked Alice Cooper with a snake. And casually, this camion break just beside Piccadilly Circus and create a huge, huge traffic jam. What happened? Hype. Well, Oral Rocket, huge traffic jam, hours of cars stocks in the center of London, all the media, all the coverage. Believe me, the guy sold the 10,000 tickets and became a huge rock star in London. All UK appeared there. They were horrified. This terrible guy, naked, in the 70s, early 70s, naked, the car broken, the bus would not stop. Hundreds of people would be delayed for anything they had to do. Believe me, he had a little bit of publicity, he had a little bit of attention. Never underestimate the hype, never underestimate the. That's why they love people, the press love scandals. They really draw people's attention. And actually, when everything is so politically correct, when the tendencies are so the truest true and no one would discuss it, to be a little bit challenging can be, let's say, powerful and remarkable and profitable and can bring you some success. And storytelling doesn't go that online. There's some problems with the storytelling, and I would like to share a few with you, just a few. Sorry. Sorry about that. Well, people don't care about you. That's the point. People do not care about you. People do not care about your product. People do not care about the features of your product. People care about themselves. People care about themselves. And storytelling can be actually the thing that connects with the emotions of these people that do not care about you at all, and do not care about your product at all, and don't care about your knowledge at all. So let's see a few things about that. And this was not in the presentation, but I like to share it with you. I am actually married with a Dutchman. We met in Ireland over 10 years ago. And when I've been in the Netherlands, I was amazed, completely amazed, about how my mother-in-law adores, she was a completely fan of Maxima, the Queen of Holland. And that's something that has, what does it has to do with the storytelling? What is it? Well, I will tell you, storytelling connects with emotions. And when I've been so surprised that the love that my mother-in-law has for Maxima, and I've been speaking with other people of the family and with people in bars and with friends of my husband, and they all adore Maxima, they really. And it was not always like that. It was not always like that. When Maxima met the Prince of the Netherlands, William Alexander, she had a very politically incorrect background. Her father was related to the dictatorship in Argentina. There were a lot of groups that were very much opposing this marriage. There were even manifestations, big manifestations against it. But somehow they went on, and actually at this time, the royal family was not in the most popular time either. there was some stuff going on, and the Prince William Alexander, he was a bit of a playboy. They called him actually Beer Prince. He was drinking in the bars all the time. So that was really, oh, how it happens, this huge transformation. Well, when Maxima was, the day that she was getting married, that was in a beautiful church, and she has all this unique glamour that the brides have. And she came into that church, they put a tango song, a very emotional, beautiful tango song that is called Adios Nonino. And there was this amazing, beautiful tango song played with the best musicians ever. And she was with all the glamour of a bride coming into this huge church. And then she started crying. And the hero there was actually the cameraman. He made a close up of her eyes with the tears rolling down in slow motion. This beautiful tango music, the eyes of Maxima with the tears falling down, slow motion, the face of the prince, all Netherlands fell in love with this girl. And it changed completely how the royal family and how actually politics in the Netherlands work. Look how powerful are emotions. I was not preparing to tell you that story, sorry, but I think it really fits. And I'm going to go a little bit about why you don't matter, why your product don't matter, what actually matters. Well, there's a lot of companies and startups and professionals that struggle with not or very bad storytelling. And if you're into the entrepreneurial ecosystem, you would hear a lot. These come these stagey guys that are so in love with their product, so in love with their vision, and start to talk with investors about a lot of numbers and a lot of data, and they are just boring. They are just boring. And they were losing their one single chance. Product-centric, future-centric, we all seen that. We don't care. We do not care. There's a few other stories that a few other samples that I work with when I'm speaking about the storytelling, but I really would like to tell you that doesn't matter. Well, this guy knows a little bit about marketing, Seth Godin. He says marketing is not longer about the stuff that you make, but about the stories you tell. And these stories have a very powerful why. And then the why goes into the what for, and then, only then, how. Well, that's something that it is very important. Maya Angelou, I adore her. And people will forget what you say, will forget what you did, but will never forget how you make them feel. And this is about, if you can, through this workshop, if you can, through all this amazing work that you're doing as project management, empower people, help them to do more than they think themselves capable of doing, became leaders when they didn't think that they were leaders. When you make them feel powerful, they will never forget you. And then you can build a legacy, you can build trust, and that's a huge success, I believe. And I'd like to share with you a few things about some things that brands use. There's usually some archetypes that brands work with. Usually most of brands works with 12 different archetypes, but I like to share, only because of timing here, I would love to share the 3, I don't know if they are the best or not, but the 3 that I would like to share with you. and how brands work with these archetypes and how brands build a full communication strategy and organize their social media about one of these archetypes. And most of the big companies, big brands, always are working with one or two of those archetypes. I only can share three here because of the timing, but I'd like to, there's a lot of information. You can contact me, or but there's also a lot of information on the internet about that. This archetype, I love it, the explorer. You would see something in Amazon, Red Bull, don't lock me up, freedom. That it is the main motto of this archetype, the freedom to discover, the experience, a more authentic world, or fullest life, doing crazy things, a bit of the challenger as well. What it is the opposite, or the fear, the enemy, the villain somehow, emptiness, conformity, being trapped. And the strategy to move this, and I think there's a lot, they will come into your mind, a lot of publicities, of course, Amazon or Red Bull, but there's a lot of publicity that work with that. As travel, experiencing new things, escape the boredom, the routine. The explorer is the one that is challenging the routines, challenging the conformity. Well, it's talents, or what moves them, ambition, be true to their own values. And values is something that you can communicate, and you need to communicate to create a strong brand. And the best way to communicate values is through an authentic story. Please, if you have any questions, put it on the chat, or feel free to raise your hand, and I will be happy. Don't worry about interrupting at all. And this one, I love this one, the magician. There's with some brands that use it, this of Absolute Vodka, Axe. Brands that through their strength and capabilities have the goal to fulfilling the dreams. That's one, it is the explorer word for freedom, and this is for fulfilling dreams. Achieving what you were in your dreams, in these dreams that you would never tell anyone. And people love, this is, sometimes we think that the magician would go to teenagers, to young, but not. Actually, people that are more drive, for example, for these brands, Axe or Absolute, are over 30s, over 40s. It's a very, very, very powerful archetype. You will be, for example, with Axe deodorant, you will be able to conquer the love of your life, or being someone to stand out of the crowd. That's another thing to define this magician or these brands. And actually, has to do with some premium or unique experiences. And this one, the king or the emperor, it's an archetype that has to do with luxury. It's like when you see like a Louis Vuitton bag, even it's with Madonna as a model, and that's an amazing way to put the hype and the luxury. But it has to do with not only with what, but actually it has to do with the status, with leadership, with thinking I have the best and I can afford the best. And you will, of course, Mercedes-Benz, Rolex, but sometimes when we communicate, perhaps you are having a service, a product, a quality that might be an imperator quality, but you communicate as it were a magician, you communicate as it were a simple thing. So it is important to think the quality and how to stand out of the crowd and how to communicate according to the people that you want to communicate with. And these archetypes is well used. There's 12 of them. I only can share here 3 for just for the timing, but are very, very powerful. Well used in a story, can really connect with your audience and get incredible, amazing results. And that's something that I like to share with you. This usually would take an hour just to work on that, but I will give you a small introduction. That is the storytelling well. The main type of stories are triumphs, moments that you really achieve and succeed over difficult circumstances. And it is this time and after these 2 years that happened everything to everyone, to every single person in the world happened. So many things, and there were so many triumph moments that we stand out and go on and keep our families together and keep our professions together and keep on working and keep on creating and over difficult and incredible difficult circumstances. And if you not only thrive but also can help others, this is a huge, huge triumph. Other way to tell stories is about a tragedy. Sometimes things that we regret, things that happen to people around us or to ourselves. And if we can somehow take what we accomplished to these things that we regret, what we had learned through pain, there's a lot of value in that. Another powerful drive for stories is tension. When we are confronted to situations that affect our values, our loyalties, our obligations, and all of us, everyone has been through this at some point, and the decisions we make through these tensions, small or big, can be something simple, small, or but when you make what you feel it is right through a situation that a compromising situation, might be quitting your job because it was not longer aligned with your values, can be choosing doing one thing instead of other. And usually through this tension, there's sometimes sacrifice made. And it's this stories through tension is where we have, well, give you a lot of gifts sometimes, and we can learn a lot on that. And there are stories that are, believe me, very worth to share. And there are stories that we usually don't share. And that's really, I really encourage you to share it. And I challenge you to share that stories. Sorry. And another stories that are very powerful are transitions. What happened when you have to make a big change in your life? And these stories also, what moved you to do these changes, and how and why? And these stories, actually, people are looking a lot for authentic and purposeful stories. The purpose and the authenticity through these stories and using these tools, you can really inspire others. And inspiring others, you can build up a strong brand and a strong leadership. Well, I can tell you, and believe me, it's not me. There's a lot of people working. There's a lot of everyone that is marketing every single company that succeeds. Can tell you that the power of storytelling to connect, to inspire, to create change can never be underestimated. Can never be underestimated. Many startups have huge gaps in their storytelling, but if we think about the great companies nowadays, let's say Apple, Google, we think about the stories of their founder. They were visionary, they were dreamers, they challenged society. And companies are looking to move faster, to innovate, but actually leaders can do a better job to sharing the stories, but also the stories of the leaders are not the ones that perhaps matter most. Perhaps the stories of the team, perhaps of the stories of someone that came with an idea, someone that is there no matter how. So I really would be happy if this small workshop can help you to generate and to have a new look to your own stories and how to use it, and take the courage to share it. And perhaps you will be surprised on the results. I believe so. And please feel free to contact me anytime for questions or for sharing, or for if you like to have a look of any story that you like to share. And thank you so much for giving me this space for sharing this with you.
Thank you, Cecilia. That's great. I love your presentation. I love all the tips you gave us to talk, to tell more, more engaging and inspiring stories. Thank you very much. We have time to questions.
Oh, thank you. Thank you to the panel here. Is there any question?
I have a question, Cecilia. Do you know what are our fears? What are we afraid when we talk a story, when we tell a story?
Well,
why is difficult, so difficult for us to tell stories?
Well, telling a story, it means being vulnerable and open up things that hurt many times. And that's so important to think about what you would not do, what you would not tell. And if you would say, okay, this story is too personal, would put me in a funny way, and I would not tell that. And I say, okay, what are the stories that I would not never tell to anyone? And then just write a list of the stories that you would not tell. And I like to close with a story I really like when it happens to me. When I was living in Ireland, when I moved to Ireland, now I have a funny accent, funny Latin accent, but my English is not too bad. But I've been living in Ireland for 7 years, and when I moved there, my English was high school English and was terrible. And I love martial arts. I love our martial arts, and I went to an Aikido club, and there was this amazing, very handsome sensei from Northern Ireland, and we all admire him. We had him, yeah, we were really looking up to him. And I didn't understood any of his explanations. He had a very strong accent, and he had explained something, and I was trying to do this technique, and I never understood what he had explained. I was trying to do this technique, practicing with a partner that was a huge, like a bit of Viking Irishman, and I had to try to take him to the floor, and I was not succeeding. And then I saw my sensei laughing at me, really laughing at me. And I was, oh my goodness, please, I want to go somewhere else. Taxi, I want to go. And then he came to me and said, no, Sissy, no, you're trying too hard. It is not the way. Just take it easy, relax, have fun. I said, okay, having fun, I can do that. But somehow when I start having fun on training Aikido, not taking it so seriously, somehow I was improving further than I thought. And the colleagues at the club was saying, hey, Sissy, you were much better now. Oh, my goodness. And sometimes we took things so seriously, you know. The point it is, don't take it ourselves so seriously. Perhaps this is a story that you are afraid to share, and thank you for speaking about fear, because we all know how fears, and we all have been through a lot of fears. And perhaps when you share your fear and you share how you have to make some choices, or how you were paralyzed by fear and having not the clarity to make the choices that you had to make, this might inspire others. And they might say, okay, it happens to me as well. And we can get people to identify and to connect with the heart of other people. So don't take us serious, because sometimes telling a story is much easier and much simpler than we think about.
Thank you, Cecilia. Any other questions? Not question at all. Okay, let me share screen.
And yes, shall I stop presenting? Sorry.
Yes, I will share my.
My apologies, Cecilia.
Yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank Cecilia for the presentation, and listening to her. Sorry, I can't put my camera on. My baby's everywhere. Listening to her, it helped me understand the series of events that have been happening concerning some big organizations in Nigeria. I think a lot of their brands have been affected because of the poor storytelling. And listening to Cecilia helped me understand that it is really important how you portray your story to the public, and how you can really affect your brand. And it's really, it wouldn't have occurred to me that poor storytelling can actually affect a brand to that extent. And listening to you actually had me piece up a lot of things this afternoon. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much for sharing it. And if you like to put any comments in the event, or that's I would be so happy to read it. Thank you for that. That's a lot.
Thanks, Grace. Thanks, Cecilia. I am sharing the screen. Are you seeing the right screen, or I am wrong? I'm not sure.
Oh.
Yeah, it was fine.
It was fine? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, not. Okay, it's now. Okay, Cecilia, thank you for your great presentation, and please accept this token of appreciation from Women Power Up Network. And now I will hand over to Fanny, as she will show us her great artwork. Thank you, Cecilia. And
oh,
Jenny.
Thank you so much. I feel emotional for that. Thank you. That's brilliant. Thank you so much.
All right, so I guess it's my turn now.
Yes, please, Jenny, can you share your work?
Sure.
And really awesome work.
Yeah. There we go. Okay, great. So, well, I've tried to summarize the main takeaways from both speakers today. So this is about your book, Ceci.
Oh, thank you.
So the main challenges you had and the main aim, of course, and a little bit about the content. So as I said, I've read it myself, and well, a lot of valuable information there and very simply put, but very powerful as well. So I share with you, I'll share this with you later. And well, this is
Thank you.
about the storytelling presentation.
Oh,
To be honest, well, I'm a big believer in, you know, the power of telling our stories, sharing what we can do, sharing our struggles, our challenges, our talents. So I couldn't agree more with what Cecilia was, you know, speaking about. So, well, here we are, and I hope this captures the essence of the presentation. And well, that's all from me. Of course, we share this too with Cecilia. And now I guess over to Meghana, right?
Thank you, Fanny. This is awesome. I love it.
No,
yes,
that's
yes,
my
thank you.
pleasure.
Thank you so much. It's a really, I feel a bit emotional. Thank you.
Oh, well, I'm glad. That's a compliment. I take it as a compliment then.
Right.
All right, I'll stop sharing.
Yeah.
Let's see. There, okay.
So I will share again. And now. Okay. And this is where we are about to conclude our Storytelling for Leaders event. And please let us know what do you think here in menti.com with the code 968643333. And we will back next month with our We Mentor event. And please watch our social media handles for more. And let's take a picture. Let's take a photo of all of us, please. Your cameras on. Put your cameras on. Turn on. Okay, I will stop share to have all the cameras here and take the picture. Wow, great session. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
I will stop the recording.